had the privilege of serving in leadership with Sister Norma Summers from '89 to '97. We spent a lot of time on the road together, which was part of our pastoral role toward our sisters and representing the Dominican Sisters of Springfield. One of our early trips was to St. Catherine, Kentucky, which both of us were thrilled to do to represent our congregation in the Dominican family that was gathering there, because neither of us had been there before, and it is, as many of you know, the site from which our early foundresses came 150 years ago. The trip there was delightful, as are all trips with Norma, and we had a wonderful time with the Dominican family for the 3 or 4 days that the meeting went on. And then it was time to come home. We got in the car, and Norma suggested that in her spirit of curiosity and adventure, that we travel as closely as we could to the trail that our sisters must have taken 150 years ago. And they came on train. So that meant we spent the time looking for where the railroad tracks were, first headed northwest and then west. As we traveled and left the hills of Kentucky to the more flat land of first Indiana and then Illinois, Norma and I reminisced about what we knew about our early foundresses, what it must have been like to be on that train 150 years ago, actually with their full white garb covered with a black mantle in an August heat, while we traveled in our air-conditioned car. Now you have to understand that Norma is more than an armchair historian and anthropologist. She's one of the most well-read persons I've ever met. So she was full of all kinds of important details as we traveled. So about 8 hours into what should have been a 6-hour trip, remember we were following railroad tracks and not the highways, I was driving headed towards Springfield, Illinois, when she realized that somewhere between Decatur and Springfield, home, I turned off the road, old Route 36, towards Springfield. She said, "Rose, where are you going?" And I said, home. No, Rose, this is a pilgrimage. We have to return to Jacksonville, Illinois. I'm like, Norma, I'm tired. I'm going to Springfield. Okay, she graciously said. But the following morning, Norma finished the pilgrimage. She found a sister, characteristic of her, who she thought needed to get out of the house, put her in the car, and they went to Jacksonville, Illinois, visited the cemetery and the graves of the 4 sisters, early sisters who were buried there, toured, I'm sure, our saviors, where Norma had served at the high school, and then returned home and explained to me all of the details that I had missed. Traveling with Norma was somewhat of a metaphor for her whole life, long before anybody characterized or coined the notion of companioning or ministry of presence. Norma has lived her whole life that way. Being in her presence is always a joy-filled, uplifting experience and continues to this day.